Concrete and Culture by Robby Porter. Preface. To the random stranger reader. I meant this to be a short writing project for my children, Ceres and Ford, to read someday. But, like so many good intentions, especially those involving one's children, it got complicated and much longer and more important to me than I expected. The marvelous advances in technology have given us YouTube, email, improvised explosive devices, fake news, and many other good and bad things, including, for a person like me without the credentials or aptitude to be interesting to mainstream publishing, the ability to distribute my thoughts cheaply and easily. A bound book of your own creation is reward enough for the effort, especially now that the effort and cost of publishing has been so greatly diminished. I wrote this for my kids. When I was stuck or despairing, often, I asked myself what it was I wanted to explain to them. This was my lodestone, and it proved a true compass for moving me forward. When I was younger, my father, who has always been a more natural writer than I, would say, whenever I could coax writing advice out of him, that I should think about who I was writing for. In the case of this book, that was an easy question to answer, but not such an easy instruction to obey. Often, the boasting toad inside me couldn't help hoping I might have a larger audience. As my simple project grew in length and complexity, I strayed from the path of addressing my kids and, conceited, mounted my soapbox, unsure of who my audience was. Before long, stuck and humbled, I would return to writing for my kids. By rewriting, I've tried to remedy these flaws and the bumps they create for the reader, whoever that may be. But as anyone who has done a sloppy job installing drywall and then tried to spackle over the mistakes knows, at some point fixing it only makes it worse. With building, the correct solution is to tear out back to the mistake and start over. This should be easier with writing because it would seem to be simply a matter of hitting the delete key. But I've tried, and the physical simplicity of writing compared to installing drywall is outweighed by the mental difficulty. When you rip out drywall, you can replace it with a new flat piece. Sometimes when you rip out the old words, the new ones lack the spirit of their predecessors and are flat, which, while it is a virtue in drywall, is a death sentence for writing. I've rewritten these essays multiple times and rounded off a lot of the rough corners, but occasionally, patching over is the best I've been able to do. Therefore, allow me to give you a suggestion on how to read this book. Skip around. Read what interests you and ignore the rest. Whenever you encounter an awkward curve in the text, remember, I should have paid more attention to my father's advice. The ideas and experiences I write about span my life. I have separated them into 4 groups. The first group contains essays that came from experiences in my childhood. The second group of essays mostly originates from the period of my life between 18 years old and when I was 30 and got married. The third group covers my life from that point until the present, 2020. The fourth group contains essays that felt related to each other. Because this is a book of stories and ideas, the groupings are not strictly chronological. In some essays, the first one for instance, ideas and experiences from my childhood carry into my adult life. My family, like all families, uses a variety of nicknames, from the common mom and daddy to more unusual terms of endearment. After seeing a John Wayne movie, my brother called me Pilgrim for years. To simplify things, when I use someone's name, I use their given name rather than the names they call each other.